Hi, everyone. I am Ishan, one of the co-founders of Cair Health. Cair Health is the agent-operated RCM platform. The reason we call ourselves agent-operated is because we have 7 purpose-built AI agents that automate across the RCM stack, from eligibility to coding to clean claim submission to denials, appeals, payment posting, phone calling, and then also patient follow-up. There's 2 things that differentiate our AI agents from others in the market. The first is the fact that they're able to operate in fragmented systems. So our agents take actions in payer portals, they get on the phone with the insurance company, they work in the EHRs, and then they also work in clearinghouse ecosystems like studies. The second is that a lot of what we're trying to build is how multiple agents can work together to really automate more complex RCM workflows. So, for example, if a claim gets denied, how could the denial agent, Dennis, analyze the 835, invoke Paige for a phone call to the insurance company, and then pass it back to Dennis to run an appeal in Availity? Today, we're going to kind of demo one of those multi-agent workflows, but not on the denial side, on the eligibility and claim creation side. So in this case, we're going to take a appointment with an associated encounter note, and we're going to process this appointment and the encounter note with our eligibility, phone call, coding, and claim submission agents. The workflow today is meant to basically check a couple of things. First, we're going to run an eligibility check to see if the patient has active coverage. We're then going to verify benefits on the phone or via study if we can for specific CPT codes, and then decide either to bill the patient via self-pay or create a billable claim to insurance, code it, add the charges, scrub it, validate it against studies validator, and send it out the door. When I click sign and process, you'll see the multi-agent workflow kick off. So we can see that Ella, our eligibility agent, is running an automated eligibility check under the hood that's leveraging studies 270, 271 process to verify that in this case, the patient does have coverage with Athena. However, we were not able to verify coverage for CPT code 99213. So our system is basically suggesting a phone call. In this case, Paige, our phone call agent, is able to find that there is a phone call on file for the same patient from last week. So we can either create a new phone call or we could use the existing phone call and analyze that record. For the sake of time, we're going to choose to use the existing phone call on file. Now what Paige is doing under the hood is listening through that 30-minute phone call recording, analyzing the transcript, and trying to see if CPT code 99213 is indeed covered by this patient or by Aetna for this patient. In this case, Paige returns the routing decision that both 99213 and 99421, which were the potential codes for the visit, are covered. And so we're progressing to our coding agent to create the CMS 1500. Clark handles ICD-10 coding, CPT coding, modifier selection, add-on coding, and a lot of the other related service line manipulation that might happen at the claim editing stage. The final step in the process essentially is sending the claim out the door. That's our clean claim submission agent, Chloe. We are formatting it, generating the X12 files, running it against Studies Validator, and then also doing a series of our own edits as well as Studies automated edits to make sure that the outbound claim is going to guarantee reimbursement. Looking back through this workflow, we can now kind of trace back each of the agent's steps to see the work that was completed along the way. So if I click into what Ella did, I'll see the full eligibility record associated with this encounter. I can see that there's an eligibility summary at the top, there's a subscriber information, plan information, benefit analysis, and then also the specific procedure code level information that we were able to generate from Study's eligibility response. However, we also can see that procedure code 99213 did not yield a successful result. So as a result, our workflow basically leveraged a phone call automation to speak with the payer representative on the phone to try to get those questions answered. If I open the call records here, I can see the phone call summary, which tells us that this specific procedure code is indeed covered. And then I can also click into the entire call recording or the call transcript if I want to really drill into the actual results of this phone call.
Thank you for calling Blue Card Eligibility. If this is a
Looking back at the final few steps of our process, we then, after the phone call, essentially identified that we were able to bill Aetna for this visit. So we created a claim in Cair automatically. This obviously sources data from the EHR and is able to generate a claim in real time that can be sent out to the payer.
Thanks, Ishan. All right, Cash from Veribrance. Go ahead.